Hello, everybody, and welcome to That Wrestling Show, the podcast where all pro wrestling matters. I am your host, Bill Yankovi. Hope everyone here in the U.S. had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hope that tryptophan isn't, really bothering you right now. And for our international listeners who don't celebrate Thanksgiving, hope you guys had a wonderful week wherever you may be. This week on the show, going to talk about the Survivor Series, everything that went down, give you my thoughts and opinions on that pay-per-view. Plus, going to talk about Final Battle. Some interesting news came out this week about that show. Plus, I'm going to tell you about some sales that are going on right now, because I know some of our listeners, you got kids. You want to look for the best possible stuff to find this holiday season, whether it be Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus for the rest of us. It does not matter. You want to look, you will find them with these sales. Kind of a slow news week here, again. I don't take it into consideration until it actually happens, where it's like, wow, this week's kind of a slow news week. It's like 2 weeks in a row. I guess when you get close towards the end of the year, something like that will happen. So the only news that I have to talk about, and it's one of those things where I kind of hope I wouldn't have to do this, but I kind of have to, is Superstar Billy Graham. Yes, Superstar Billy Graham went on the social media, went on Facebook in particular, and basically said that Kurt Angle's taking steroids. Gee, what a surprise. This is the same guy that suggested to Kofi Kingston and Adam Cole to both take steroids. So, in a recent post on Facebook, it is entitled, "To Kurt Angles." So I'm going to read this, and I guess I'll read it in my Superstar Billy Graham impersonation. I've never done this before, so. So fans, Kurt Angle, brother, at age 51, has turned his physique completely around. With hard work, eating the right amount of protein, and taking plenty of roids, he has literally, brother, transformed himself into another person. I say congratulations to Kurt, as I have always liked this man, brother, from the first day I met him. Very respectful to me, and was, and I am sure, still a class act, brother. His quote that went along with this great bodybuilding shot was, "Brother, damn, it feels good to be able to train hard again. Feeling like I'm in my 30s, brother. Again, congratulations on having the guts to train hard. Even with the juice, brother, if you don't train, you can't look like Kurt does here. Way to go, brother." Now, to another great in the hospital photo of a big hole in the back of Charlie Lefebvre's ear. And yes, Miss Faith, sister, cancer can and does grow anywhere. Never apologize for putting up a graphic health shot on my Facebook, my brother. And your statement about out-of-pocket expense being a bitch, you nailed it, my brother. The talking heads at the Mayo, brother, told me my hip revision would be $82K. But my orthopedic surgeon told me, brother, Superstar, that's the average cost of a normal hip revision. But you are way north of being average, brother. And I would say by the time I am done working on your hip, brother, you'll easily be looking at $100K plus, brother. That's why I started my GoFundMe, brother. I'm still way short, and now I have the cancer Mo surgery bill coming up, which will be a good $25K without a doubt, brother. Do I have that kind of money, brother? No. Plus, my cancer surgeon said I see some more basal cells, and you will be back. I got my stitches out today with about 15 left on the inside of my nose, brother, that will dissolve on their own. And Faith, baby, those 5 months you worked on the Vegas airport tarmac may not have been long enough for you to trigger the cancer growth, brother. But keep an eye on everything by going to a dermatologist and getting a complete exam. Happy Thanksgiving, brother, to everyone, and I will catch you later. Okay, so with the Kurt Angle thing, really, did I really need to know if he was taking steroids or not? Really, Billy Graham? Really? And by the way, his GoFundMe campaign has only raised $27,000, so he's quite a long way from, well, he's actually half past his goal. His goal is $50,000, so he's more than halfway, so. I mean, my thing with Superstar, I've always respected him as a wrestler. I've always respected him as a wrestler. But as a human being, he's kind of a jerk. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, I don't wish ill will on anyone. I mean, I really don't. But, you know, hopefully he'll get this all cleared and better, so. But still, Billy Graham, influential in the business, but kind of a D-bag in real life. So Ring of Honor Final Battle is December the 18th. That is 3 weeks away. And news has come out this week that every championship in Ring of Honor will be defended, at the pay-per-view. So, that means that, you know, someone like Jonathan Gresham, who just won the Pure Wrestling title, is going to wrestle twice, because he's also a co-holder of the tag team titles. You're also going to have the television title, and you're going to have the Ring of Honor World title, and the 6-man tag team title as well. So, it's going to be a loaded card. So, I'm still looking forward. I haven't heard any of the matches yet for Final Battle 2020. But I'm still looking forward to it, especially after watching the most recent episode. So, should be cool to see. Dave Meltzer, this week, on the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Radio, announced that a new award will be added to the Observer Newsletter Year-End Awards, but this is a special award. This is the Shad Gaspard Award. And this award is going to be given for outside the ring contributions for the betterment of society. I think it's really cool, you know, that Shad Gaspard is getting an award named after him. And I know people don't like Dave Meltzer and the Observer, but you know, with everything that with what happened this year, his tragic passing, and the way that he saved his son's life. I said this a while back. Should be commended. He went above and beyond, and there are people who are hoping that Shad Gaspard gets the Warrior Award when they do the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony, whenever that is. But I think Meltzer's getting this right, creating an award for someone who risked his life to save another life. And in that case, it was his son. So very cool. Good job by Dave Meltzer for doing this. The Shad Gaspard Award for outside the ring contributions for betterment of society. Very cool news. Well, we are in the holiday season, and with the holiday season means there are a lot of sales, and a lot of different places have sales going on. And I know we have wrestling fans that are looking for sales, you know, try to find the right stuff. So I got some, you know, different websites that you guys might want to check out if if you have that kid in your, in your family, or maybe that special someone in your life that you know is a wrestling fan, well, let me give you some good places to go to. Start off with Ring of Honor Wrestling. They have their Delirious Insanity sale, where 10% off all apparel, 50% off all DVDs, and 50% off all clearance. That is right now at ROHWrestling.com. All Elite Wrestling has their Black Friday sale. It started on Tuesday. If you go to shopaew.com, you get 25% off everything. Hats, masks, shirts, and accessories. Plus, for U.S. customers, you get free shipping for orders over $150. Use the code BF2020. That is BF2020. That sale ends on Monday. If you're looking for WWE merchandise, WWEshop.com currently has a Black Friday sale with deals up to 75% off. You heard me right, 75% off. Plus, you could get an extra 25% off your order using the code FRIDAY. Now, I'm looking at the titles here, and yes, those prices have gone down. Would I buy them? No, because they're still way expensive. I mean, I couldn't afford this, even though I do have the money. I just would not be able to afford it. But, you know, I just thought, you know, championship belts I think would have been really cool to get on this deal. They got a lot of great stuff too. Probably t-shirts as well would be a good offer there. WWEshop.com for hundreds of Black Friday deals. Highspots.com has a Black Friday deal going on right now. 25% off almost everything. The only things it doesn't include are wrestling rings and accessories, subscriptions, gift certificates, and WrestleCon tables. That is if there is a WrestleCon. But 25% off almost everything at highspots.com. And for you toy collectors, ringsidecollectibles.com. They have hundreds of deals going on there. Action figures galore at very reasonable prices. If your order is over $50 and you use the code free shipping or free ship, you get free shipping no matter what to any of the lower 48 states. Or you can use the code BF10 for 10% off your order, no minimum. Now, of course, the main thing, you cannot use both codes on the same deal. You can only do the free ship or BF10 on only one of your items. So, if you're looking for shopping places, ROHWrestling.com, shopaew.com, WWEshop.com, highspots.com, and ringsidecollectibles.com. Alright, well, we had a pay-per-view this past Sunday night. It was the Survivor Series, and I have to say, it was quite a show. It was a good show for the majority of the night, and going to get into this. So what I'm going to do is going to go through each match, give you my rating, Meltzer's ratings, and CBS Sports' ratings, because, you know, CBS Sports, the czars of professional wrestling. And then at the end, I will give you what our Facebook group thought of the Survivor Series. So, our pre-show match was a dual brand battle royal. I'm not going to list everybody because it would take me a while. The final four came down to Jeff Hardy, Dominic Mysterio, Chad Gable, and The Miz. That was our final four. Jeff Hardy gets eliminated first. Dominic Mysterio tries to eliminate The Miz. He throws The Miz over the top rope, but Miz holds on to the bottom rope. So he rolls back into the ring. Dominic does a drop kick. Miz goes to the floor. However, because Miz was able to roll back into the ring, he is still in the match. So now we have Chad Gable and Dominic Mysterio in the ring, one-on-one. And I was so impressed with how Chad Gable and Dominic Mysterio did one-on-one in the ring. It was absolutely fantastic. I would pay to see these two face off in the near future. I would love to see that on TV. They had good back and forth action. Dominic eliminates Chad Gable. Dominic thinks he's won the Battle Royal, but The Miz comes back into the ring, throws Dominic out. The Miz wins the Battle Royal. I gave this a C, honestly. I didn't think it was a bad Battle Royal. It was kind of fun at moments. I loved the part with Chad Gable and Dominic Mysterio. I thought that was entertaining. So I gave it a C. Meltzer gave it 2.25 stars. CBS Sports gave it a C-. So we go from there to the actual. Oh, actually, no, I almost forgot. Oh my God, how could I forget this part? During the kickoff, R-Truth came out, and he was there because he was, to celebrate the 30th anniversary. Well, it wasn't of The Undertaker, but instead it was of the Gobbledygooker. Yes, the Gobbledygooker debuted on the same show The Undertaker debuted at. So, Gobbledygooker comes out, then Akira Tozawa comes out with a referee, and Tozawa tries to get a pin, but R-Truth kicks out. Gobbledygooker then gets a schoolboy. 1, 2, 3. The Gobbledygooker wins the 24/7 title, the first animal to ever win a championship in WWE. And what I found hilarious was as Gooker is being chased, he loses one of his feet. It was absolutely hilarious. I laughed when he lost his foot. I did. Okay, so now we go to the main show. And surprisingly, and I say surprisingly because I did not expect this to be the opening of the pay-per-view, the Men's Survivor Series match starts the pay-per-view. So you got Team Raw, AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, Braun Strowman, and Sheamus against Team SmackDown of Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Otis, and King Corbin. So we get a little, tussle early on, and Seth has this look on his face. He's had this look before, and it was before he stabbed Rey Mysterio's eye into the steps. So he makes the tag. Sheamus comes in, and they're just standing, and Seth looks at his team, and he's like, "This is for the greater good." So he gets on his knees, and he's basically offering Sheamus a free shot. One bro kick later, 1, 2, 3, Seth Rollins eliminated first from the match. Obviously, this was to write him off TV so he can be with Becky for the birth of their baby. So we now go to 5-on-4. We get some back and forth action, and Kevin Owens ends up being the second person eliminated. It's now 5-on-3. Corbin comes in, tries to do the best that he can. but Matt Riddle ends up pinning him. It's now 5 against 2. Oh boy, this is not looking good for SmackDown, folks. 5 against 2. So Otis, he had a couple of good moments in this match. His confrontation with Keith Lee was good, and he had a good few minutes with Braun Strowman as well. I was kind of impressed. But Braun Strowman power slammed Otis. 1, 2, 3. Otis is eliminated. It is now 5 versus 1. Jey Uso is the one. Jey Uso tried everything he could to get some kind of momentum. It did not work. Keith Lee hit the Spirit Bomb. 1, 2, 3. Jey Uso eliminated all 5 members of Raw, survived the match, and I believe it is only the second time in the history of the Survivor Series that a team of 5 had all 5 members survive. Very interesting. I gave the match a B-. Meltzer gave it 2.5 stars. CBS Sports gave it a B. Then we go to this tag match. The New Day against the Street Profits. And what the story of the match is basically the New Days are the heels in this match. And they didn't have to be the heels. Actually, neither one of them had to be the heels. But the New Day were kind of heelish in the match. And they acted pretty good as heels. I enjoyed it, to be honest with you. And it was just a good back and forth tag team match. Worked on Montez Ford throughout the duration. Street Profits make a comeback. It's just a good back and forth match. The ending comes with the Street Profits hitting a Doomsday blockbuster combination on Xavier Woods. 1, 2, 3. Street Profits get the win. This was a good match. I gave it a B-. Actually, I don't know why I gave it a B-. Maybe it should have been a little bit higher. Meltzer rated this 3.5 stars. CBS Sports gave it a B+. Now, I do want to say, before we go along, that throughout the show, I was keeping track of the score in my mind. So, SmackDown has won 1 match, the tag match that I just talked about. Raw has won 2 matches. They won the Battle Royal, and they won the Men's Survivor Series match. So keep that in mind. Next up is Sami Zayn against Bobby Lashley. Whew. Oh, man, this was painful to watch. This was painful. And it's a shame, because I really like the Hurt Business. I really like Sami Zayn. This match just did not work. The whole match is Sami Zayn is playing the conspiracy theory character, where it's like, well, MVP's over there, Shelton Benjamin's over there, Cedric Alexander's over there. How am I supposed to compete? He's thinking that they're going to attack him, but they never do. So it's just all over the freaking place. And the end of the match, Zayn goes to the outside. He's walking. He trips over MVP's foot, tries to get Lashley disqualified in a way, but the ref never sees it. MVP throws Zayn into the ring, puts on the Hurt Lock. Lashley wins the match. This was the worst match of the pay-per-view. I gave this a D for dud, because that's what it was a dud. Meltzer gave it a 1.25 stars. CBS, oh my God. I have to think, okay, look. I think somebody, who does this all the time? Brent Brookhouse. I think Brent Brookhouse is on the payroll of WWE. He gives this a C+. A C+. This is not a C+ match. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Anyway, next up, Asuka versus Sasha Banks. This was a really good match. Very well done. I would say this was the best match the two of them have had together. It is a straight up women's wrestling match. They go hold for hold, move for move. Neither one can win. It's a very good back and forth match. And then the ending is, it's a series of near falls with these roll-ups. And Sasha gets the last roll-up and manages to hold on long enough to get the 3 count. Sasha Banks wins the match. A really good match. I thought the best match that the two of them have had together. I gave this a strong B. This was a strong B for me. Meltzer gave it 3 3/4. CBS Sports gave it a B+. So now we're at the point, and I just want to mention this. It is 3-2 in favor of Raw. All Raw has to do is get one more win, and they will win the Survivor Series. But before we can get to that, we got to go back to the adventures of our new 24/7 champion, the greatest 24/7 champion of all time, the Gobbledygooker. So the Gobbledygooker is in the hallway, I guess we could call it, backstage of the Thunderdome. And there lies Birdseed. Now, I'm only going to say this because I've grown up my entire life, basically, where I live near the woods. And we get a lot of birds. And there's certain type of bird feed and bird seed that you have to get to feed the birds. Well, the problem that I see, and I'm only saying this because of how I was brought growing up, I think they gave the Gobbledygooker the wrong type of bird seed. Because if you looked at the bags, because the bags are actually in the background, it's like cardinals, chickadees, woodpeckers, that kind of stuff. So I think, I don't want to say for sure they gave him the wrong bird feed, but what am I? So anyway, Gobbledygooker celebrates in bird feed when Akira Tozawa pops out of a crate, rolls up Gobbledygooker, 1, 2, 3. Tozawa wins the 24/7 title, kills the greatest reign in the history of that title's history. Then R-Truth comes back, Schoolboy, 1, 2, 3. R-Truth wins back the 24/7 title. I think they said it was like the 43rd time. We're gonna take a quick field trip here and see what that was, what the number was. That is reign number 5. Okay, so it's the 5th reign, or 45th, the 45th reign of R-Truth as the 24/7 champion. So, alright. So the Gobbledygooker, R-Truth, 45-time, 24/7 champion. There you go. Alright, so now we go to the women's Survivor Series match. Again, I was surprised at how this was placed on the card. So Team Raw consists of Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Payton, Royce, Lacey Evans, and Lana. SmackDown consists of Bayley, Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Natalya. And believe it or not, there's a story to this match. The story begins with the Raw team basically saying, do not tag Lana in. So, we have the match. Starts off. We get some good wrestling for a while. Lana tags in. She tagged herself in. Uh-oh. So she has a little thing with Natalya for a few minutes. Then Peyton Royce tags her out. Nia and the rest of the team are upset at her. Nia forces Lana to go stand on the steps. Remember that. She is standing on the steps. So, we continue on, and we get a really good series of wrestling. The remaining 9 go onto the floor. They're fighting. It's really good. Then we get our first elimination, and this was a surprise. Peyton Royce eliminates Bayley. Bayley, the first one eliminated. She just had the SmackDown Women's title for over a year and is the first one eliminated. So then Natalya comes in, puts on the sharpshooter. Peyton taps out, so we're now at 4-4. Lacey Evans comes in, gives Natalya the woman's right. Natalya's out, 4-3 in favor of Raw. Then we get, a little later on, a cool-looking spot. So, Shayna Baszler has the Kirifuda clutch on Ruby Riott. And the referee gets distracted. So while the clutch is on, Ruby is able to reverse the clutch into a pin. She's got Shayna beat. She's got her pin. And the referee comes over. 1, 2. Baszler lets go. Ruby Riott passed out from the Kirifuda clutch. So, Riott is gone. So we are down to 4-on-2 in favor of SmackDown. Or in favor of Raw, pardon me. But Liv Morgan manages to make a comeback for the team, eliminates Lacey Evans. It is now 3-2. Nia Jax comes in. She does not waste much time. She eliminates Liv Morgan. It is now 3-1. Bianca Belair is the final member of the SmackDown team. And then, this is where we get to the ending, and this is an interesting ending, to say the least. That might actually be an understatement, what I just said. So Shayna Baszler's in the ring with Bianca Belair. All she's got to do is beat her, and she's won it for the team. So Belair's in the Kirifuda clutch. Belair manages to make the ropes. Baszler refuses to let go. Referee disqualifies Shayna Baszler. So she's gone. So now it's a 2-on-1 situation. Okay, Belair's got a shot here. So Nia Jax goes. She goes to the outside. She gets a table. Looks like she's going to put somebody through the table. She grabs Belair. But Belair fights out of it, sends Jax to the steps, another set of wooden or steel steps. So they're fighting on the outside. Referee's counting. Nia attempts a move, but gets back body dropped over the guardrail, and she's out of it. And as Belair's starting to make a move to get back into the ring, the referee counts 10. So, Nia Jax and Bianca Belair both are eliminated. But there's one person left. Lana. Lana is the sole survivor of the team. She wins the match. She wins the match after being in the ring for less than 3 minutes, standing on the stairs the majority of the time. She's the sole survivor. It was kind of an interesting way to end that match. I gave it a B+. I actually thought the women did a good job in this one. Meltzer gave it 2 stars. CBS Sports gave it a B. So, because Lana won the match, Raw's won the Survivor Series. They have won the head-to-head battle, 4-2. But we do have one more match to go. Even though this really isn't for anything, we have one more match to go. It is Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. What a match this was. This was the best match of the entire pay-per-view. It was a good story told of cat and mouse. Reigns would get the advantage for a little bit. McIntyre would come back. It's good back and forth. Referee accidentally gets knocked out. Jey Uso comes into the ring. Super kicks Drew McIntyre. Roman Reigns does not even know that this happened. And he puts on the guillotine on the Drew. Drew is out. He is out of it. And the referee, the replacement referee, calls for the bell. Roman Reigns wins the match, and it ends up being 4-3, Raw winning the Survivor Series. I gave this an A-. Meltzer gave it 4.25 stars. CBS Sports gave it an A+. What a surprise. They give it an A+. Okay, now, for those who did not watch the Survivor Series, let me tell you why I was keeping score for you guys. Because WWE did not do that at all for the entire show. You're building up Raw, SmackDown, best of the best, and they didn't keep track. What a surprise. It's WWE. After the match, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso embrace. Have to see where that goes from there. And this would normally be the end of the pay-per-view. But it's not. Because this is the Undertaker final farewell tribute extravaganza. So we start off with what feels like 10 minutes of friends and colleagues of The Undertaker coming out. This is the order. Shane McMahon, Big Show, and I actually have the list in front of me, so this is why I'm doing it. Shane McMahon, Big Show, JBL, Jeff Hardy, Mick Foley, The Godfather, The Godwins, yes, The Godwins came, Savio Vega, Rikishi, Kevin Nash, Booker T, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Triple H, and Kane all come out. And then we get a music video tribute. And they play a Metallica song. I don't know the name of it because they never listed it. Then we get Vince McMahon standing in the ring. And he's talking, he's like, 30 years. Who would have thought? 30 years. So he keeps talking, and then he introduces The Undertaker. And then we get like this weird like musical bit with some with some, like, sounding instruments, like, like that. And an Undertaker comes out, he does his entrance, and then he stands on a platform, and this platform raises the Undertaker up at the corner, by the post, and it's really funny. And then Undertaker comes into the ring, and it's like, okay, he's gonna deliver this speech. It's a total of 6 sentences, probably. And it's like, for 30 years, I have been digging holes, and I have been burying holes. But now it's time for me to go. Kids, don't do drugs. Stay in school. Rest in peace. Okay, that really wasn't it. That wasn't really the speech, but, it was very short. Then we get a hologram Paul Bearer, where Undertaker puts a knee down, and then Undertaker leaves. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, somebody's going to attack him. And I honestly thought, like, a lot of people were thinking that. And the only person that it could have happened would have been the Fiend. It's like, Fiend's going to attack him. Something's going to happen. No, credits go. That's the end of the Survivor Series. And that is how Survivor Series ends. Honestly, I thought Undertaker was going to do a longer speech, but my thinking is, and I said this to Fro the other day, is he's probably saving his long speech for when he goes into the WWE Hall of Fame. That's my thinking. Because I would think that would be what would happen. So that is the Survivor Series 2020. Let's go to the Facebook group and see what they thought of it. Most people gave this show a B grade, with one person giving it a D, and I want to read this. I want to read this from Dan on our Facebook group, who wrote, "Show sucked. Team sweeping is dumb. Tired of same old matches. Sure, Asuka versus Banks was good, but I've seen it a million times." Well then, I'm going to give this a B, actually. I thought it was a good show. I'm not going to lie. I thought this was a good show. And best match, favorite match of the show, really close, believe it or not. Drew and Roman is the leading match in our poll, followed by the New Day Street Profits match, and the Men's Survivor Series match rounds it out. I got to give it to Drew and Roman. I thought it was a really good match. Definitely, I would like to see those two face each other again in the near future. So, be very cool to see Drew and Roman face each other again down the line. They had a really good match, and it made it feel like it was worth something, even though, Raw had already won the Survivor Series, but it was still kind of cool to see that. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Let's check real quick if we got any messages in our emails, see if there's anything that needs to be read. Nope, there is not. So, got to get out of that, and let's start getting into the plugs. If you guys have any questions or comments, send an email, wrestlingman@thatwrestlingshow.com. Don't forget to follow the show on Twitter at WrestlingShow11. Follow the show on Instagram at That Wrestling Show. Join the Facebook group, That Wrestling Show Fan Group. You type that in the search bar and you are right there. If you can't find it, it's okay. I put the link in the description of each and every episode. Also, check out our merchandise store, teespring.com/That Wrestling Show podcast. And check out our Patreon page. If you like what you heard, I think you'll like our Patreon, patreon.com/That Wrestling Show. Now to plug some friends of the podcast, check out our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast with Joe Murata and Michael Quinn. And this week, they were very kind to all of us because they took us on a world tour because they did a live review of WWF World Tour 1992. That is what they did this week on our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast. Also, check out Greetings from Allentown with Peter Wenson. Watches one episode of wrestling in his own special way. This week, he watches an episode of WCW Worldwide from August 8th, 1992, where Ron Simmons wins the WCW World title. A historic moment, one that I actually remember seeing when it happened. Check it out on Worldwide Wrestling. Also, check out Juice Pro Wrestling, where this week, Navy veteran Kevin Brown joins them to discuss how he got hooked into wrestling and the time that he met and hung out with Typhoon, aka Tugboat, and met Earthquake on separate occasions. That is Juice Pro Wrestling. And check out Two Fans Review Wrestling Podcast, where this week they review Halloween Havoc 1995. Now, if you're looking for non-wrestling related podcasts, check out the Best Pick Movie Podcast. They have a special this week. It's a quickie. They have Cyrus Lowe, and they do an interview with him, and they discuss Moonlight, which was the previous episode that they just did. So check out the Best Pick Movie Podcast. Also, check out Unspooled with Paul and Amy, where right now they're going through messed up families. And this week, they discuss the 1997 Creole family tragedy, Eve's Bayou. That is this week on Unspooled. Also, check out Last Stop Penn Station with Kerry Silkin and Ian Riccaboni as we go into the life of Kerry Silkin. This week, he has part 2 of his discussion about Mick Foley. Also, check out The Castle Vault, a chronological deep dive of Disney animated films powered by Disney+. This week, they discuss Wreck-It Ralph from 2012. Check out Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, where this week they have the drummer that has been with Weird Al for almost 40 years, John Bermuda Schwartz, will be joining them this week. And he just came out with a book of pictures, of rare pictures from making music videos and other such stuff. Check that out. Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast. Also, I put this up recently, but it's been out for a little bit. The most recent episode of WW Free just came out. Jim Boy Star had Josiah with him as they watched the 1995 Survivor Series. So check that out. And, well, I wished I'd been on that show, but I'm glad I wasn't, because that was my first wrestling event. So, and check out Sharks Pond, a South Park podcast. Yes, it is back this week. I watch, review, discuss every single episode of South Park ever. This week, I discussed the Season 10 episode, Hell on Earth 2006. You got it. It's a Halloween episode. Okay. Next week, we're going to have some fun. Because I'm going to do something I haven't done in a long time. I'm going to do a fan-requested review. And this is a review that has been asked to me multiple times. It's been a long time. But, we're into the holiday season. 2020 is thankfully coming to an end. So why don't we have some fun, as next week I will review an old Coliseum video, WWF Smack'em Whack'em. And it is on the WWE Network. So if you guys want to watch Smack'em Whack'em to get yourself prepared for the review next week, you may go right ahead. Also, I will be previewing NXT TakeOver War Games, and hopefully we'll have some wrestling news to discuss next week on the podcast. Everybody, have a good, safe weekend. Try to rest up from Thanksgiving. I know that's going to be a little difficult, but don't worry. You'll be able to do it. I believe in you guys. And when you're done, come back here next week for another episode of That Wrestling Show, the podcast where all pro wrestling matters. And until then, wrestle on.